Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We're pleased to be joined by the one, the only Gary Houghton, the head football coach of Mason. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. So another season is upon us, and how was the summer for you guys?
I think it's been a great summer. You know, we graduated some really talented seniors, but we have a lot of kids back with varsity experience, and they've made some significant strides. I've been very impressed with the improvement in the off season.
Absolutely. So really, what is this? What's this week like for you guys? Because this is kind of like, weights and stuff like that, and everything's, I know a lot of teams treat this week differently and stuff. What's going on in Mason this week? Are you guys doing some weights activities?
Yeah, yeah, we're doing weights. We have We still offer two lifting times, which we've been doing all summer. We offer one in the morning, one in the evening in case the kids has a job or whatever their situation is, or they have driver's ed, whatever it is. We give them two options to come in and lift. And attendance has been great. Our numbers are up. Um, at our spring meeting, we had 48 kids sign up for freshman football. So, you know, if we keep those numbers up there, that's a good thing. I think that's always a strength. Um, it, to me, the weight room is just where everything begins. And this week, not only are we doing the weight room, but we're doing some four-player workouts with our wide receivers. So, we want to make sure they don't lose anything in that week before we get started next week.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, what's the outlook for Mason this year? What's Mason going to be like in 2025?
I think we're in that rare territory. You really only get this one year. Last year, we had four freshmen and four sophomores up on the varsity. And all of them got significant playing time except one guy that he got injured pretty early this season. He broke a bone in his foot. So seven of those eight kids have significant playing time. Some of them were all conference kids, and they're all back. So we're going to be in that rare territory where we're still young, but we're experienced at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's time to go through some of the top returners on the team and some of the guys to watch for the Bulldogs this year.
Well, I think when you think about our top returning guys, guys like Troy Peters, who will be a sophomore this fall, he's back. He had a remarkable season as a freshman for us last year. He is the first, I think, the only kid I can think of since I've been coaching here that started both ways as a freshman and was on our kick and punt team return. So, as good as say AJ Martell was, AJ didn't start on defense as a freshman. He didn't start two ways until he was a sophomore. So the expectations are really high for a guy like Troy. He's coming back. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife type player. He can play QB, he can play tailback, he can play wide receiver. You got to account for him wherever he lines up. Luke Goss is back. He's another key wide receiver for us and corner. Frankie Trigo is another guy that's back. He's got some varsity experience. It was one of the underclassmen. Um, Carson Chapin is back as a senior tailback and linebacker. Um, Carson was our leading rusher last year. We spread the ball out quite a bit because we ran our QB quite a bit last year, but he was still our leading rushing tailback. Um, Hayden Hendrickson is back as a senior. He's another one that had a remarkable year. Their family moved into Mason last year, and he joined us in the summer, and just took in all the new program, the new scheme like a sponge, and just took off like a ball of fire. So the expectations are really high for him. Um, Some other guys that we have returning, Joe Price, who started last year as a sophomore at center. He's back. Um, Joe's taken on a bigger leadership role this year. Zeb James, who played at times both ways last year. We're expecting big things out of him on the offense and defensive line. Isaac Branton started for us last year at left tackle. He'll be back as a junior. He's another one that we've had some pretty high expectations for him. A couple guys that have kind of emerged in the off season, that they weren't guys that really stuck out on anybody's radar last year, but they really had just remarkable off seasons. Not only in how they developed their skills, but physically through the weight room. Drew Later, who was with us last year as a freshman, is now a sophomore. Probably will be starting two ways for us on the offensive line and as a defensive end. One of the faster defensive ends we've had. And on the other side, the other defensive end, a kid named Brennan West, who will be a junior. Um, those two are our two fastest linemen, and they'll be our starting defensive ends. So we're pretty excited about those guys. Joey Child is another one. Um, he led our team in tackles last year at linebacker. He's back as a senior, so he'll be doing some work for us as a fullback and H back as well as our linebacker. Um, Trying to think who else kind of sticks out. Um, the guy that everybody wants to know, who's going to replace Kason Carswell at QB is a kid named Garrett Coate. He'll be a junior. He's another one that just, once I told him what we wanted to do, that we wanted him to step into that role, he just put the time in, did the weight room, um, just got remarkably better as a QB in the off season. So, and I could watch his progress from the first 7-on-7 to the last one, and he has made himself into a really good high school QB. So we're excited about him, and we've got some good young kids coming up that haven't seen the varsity before that I think are going to be contributors. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, should be fun.
Yeah.
Um, all right, let's talk about the upcoming schedule for you guys. We'll of course the season starts on August 28th. The home opener for you guys when Holt comes to town. Week two will be at DeWitt. Week three on September 12th, home against Williamston. At September 19th, home against Hazlitt. Week four. Week five will be September 26th at Lansing Eastern. October 3rd, home against St. John's. October 10th at Fowlerville. October 17th at Detroit Country Day, and finishing out the regular season October 24th at Harper Woods. So pretty good schedule. Some new opponents on the non-conference side of things, but what's the schedule looking like for 2025? As we all know, the Red's going to be tough as always.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The red is tough and it might be tougher than it's ever been. I think it's as balanced as it's ever been. And it's not because anybody's down, it's because there's more teams up. You know, I think St. John's is on the rise. Williamston's going to be good again. Hazlitt will be good again. I think it's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be a tough race. Our non-conference, I think, is as tough as anybody in the state between Holt, DeWitt, Country Day, and Harper Woods. I mean, our non-conference schedule is pretty tough. Somebody sent me something. There was some rankings, some preseason rankings, and five of our opponents are ranked in the preseason. So if you if you put any value in preseason rankings, it just gives you something to think about that we did go out and find the toughest opponents.
Yeah. Should be yeah, should be good as always. And then of course the next couple weeks for Mason. Of course the big show starts August 11th, first day of practice. That's of course I know obviously there's a lot of things you have to take care of as a coach on the logistical side.
Mhm.
But what is the next 2 weeks going to be like? And of course the scrimmage and coming up at the middle of next week.
It's probably like a lot of other schools. There's a lot of things that you're checking just the final boxes this week, making sure kids have their physicals and um, you know, just glad we're healthy and going into next week. We're excited about our team. Um, we're not changing much. Um, our structure, our practice structure is all the same as what it's been. And we do what we do. We have a great balance offensive attack and an aggressive defense. So I'm excited about the next 2 weeks and I'm excited about the season.
Absolutely. It's always a fun time of the year when football comes. And of course, we'll see how many times you get to say, "How about them Bulldogs?" So you knew I had to insert that in there. So, all right. Well, Gary, thank you so much for the time as always, and best of luck to you guys this season.
Thank you.